So this is just something that I've been in my head and kind of talking to myself and allowing messages to come through me because I'm going to be in a podcast next Tuesday, and I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? And it's supposed to be about my new business. So my business is I rented a small salon suite locally, and I'm really just embracing all of me. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and I've put that on the back burner, other than cutting family's hair. But I decided that I can't do that anymore. I just need to bring everything, all of me out and just use it all. So part of that is also my deep connection to God, to love, to Source, to the Great Spirit, to all that is, to all that knows it is, that we have to label and keep calling different names. But that's okay because we are human and that is what we do. We label things, and sometimes that divides us, and other times that it actually brings us closer because it's a community. So, as I was thinking about those who have a really hard time with um, metaphysical things and things that are looked at as sacrilegious or not Christian specifically, just because I'm Catholic, and that's where I will be speaking from. So I'm speaking also from my own journey and my own thoughts. So if I've offended anybody, I didn't mean to. So as I was thinking about Jesus' life and how he never judged anybody. He never questioned or asked anybody who needed healing. You know, when was the last time they went to temple? When was the last time they prayed? Are they Jewish? Like, he didn't question that. That was never part of his criteria of how he was going to help somebody. For instance, if we see somebody who's homeless and it looks like they might be asking for money, but maybe a little aggressive. Maybe they look like they might be using drugs. We might question whether we give them the money because what are they going to use it for? But I just heard a really great comment by Marianne Williamson. I'm listening to her audio collection right now, and she's saying, that's, and I always feel this way. People like to choose what they stand for, and then they don't go further or deeper. So that's okay if you start where you're at and then you up level, but you have to always just, okay, you're ready for the next thing, because then you kind of become a hypocrite. So for instance, if we say, well, I'm not going to give them money because they're just going to use it on drugs, they'll probably just use it on drugs, but we might choose somebody else that we think is, maybe a child in Africa that might need the money. Okay, so yes, you did a wonderful thing by giving and donating, but the judgment there lies. Have you gone to see a movie that maybe the producer may have been a drug addict and used the proceeds of the money to supply his drug addiction? So if we're really saying, I'm not doing that because, and we're judging one person, then we need to kind of self-reflect and say, but do I do that in another area of life? Do I enable somebody somewhere else? Then I can't just decide when I don't enable. So it just makes you kind of look in the mirror and go deeper. I'm not saying to give anybody money or not give anybody money, just making a point. So Jesus, seeing those that are suffering, and he didn't ask, he didn't say, well, let me decide if they're worthy enough. He knew they're worthy enough because God created them, and they're his brother or sister. And that's where the healing happened. He validated their worth. He allowed them to feel human again. He respected them and honored their soul for being born, that it was enough, more than enough, to be worthy because they're God's children. And that validation, that acceptance, that allowed that person to heal. So when he came back, Jesus came back and spoke to the disciples, the apostles, and the flame of the Holy Spirit was upon all of them. And he said, go out and spread my word and teach. And you will go to foreign lands and you will speak and they will understand. Now, that could be literal, but if like when you hear the truth about something, it rings true, even if it's not spoken eloquently or delivered so well, you just know it. And that can also be like, think about it, like, have you had siblings or even a partner where you're just like a sibling, like they're not even speaking the same language as you are right now, even though it's English, because you think, didn't we not have the same parents and grow up in the same household? And how is it that you have that perspective of that? Or a spouse or a partner where you're just like, I don't even know what language you're speaking. I have no idea what you're saying or what you're asking of me. Okay. So we do often speak different languages, even if it is, English. So those kind of things, the truth, when we really set first love for another, then there is no boundary. There is no religious, ethnic, racial boundary. We're all God's children. And that love, when it starts from the love, that's where the allowance of the healing happens. To be a witness to that person, to say, you are the son, the daughter of God. Then that person can forgive themselves, love themselves, and then the healing happens. So that's what I am doing in my work. I'm a witness. I am putting the mirror in front of you, literally sometimes, and saying you are more than enough. Regardless of what you ate, whether you worked out, if you yelled at your kids, you're more than enough, and just start with love. But you have to stop condemning other people for their points of views, especially if they're different than yours. And you have to stop condemning yourself first, because that's blasphemy. Because you saying to yourself all the time, I'm disgusting, I don't look good, I'm not good enough. You are putting down, you're saying, God, maybe you made a mistake. This one's not so good. And that's blasphemy. So that's my work. I am a witness to help you to see that you're more than enough. And sometimes it takes someone just holding your hand through this journey and through this process in a loving way. And I'm all about loving. So that's my message today. That's my deep thought, and that's what I was thinking about, and allowing that, yes, I'm a witness, and I have said yes to this task of loving and learning, and I'm doing this with you. I am learning to love myself and love others. And the reason why I can be a witness is because I am in the trenches with you. Love you. Go and hug someone today. Smile at someone. Make someone feel human, feel worthy. Don't have to give them money. Just your smile and validation.